Jump up to the Truth in Savings Act, or Reg DD. First one, consistent terminology. This is always, it's the gift that keeps on giving, I guess, from a compliance perspective, because we are required under the Truth in Savings Act to have consistent fee terminology. So on my initial disclosures, if I'm referring to a fee, it should be the same terminology when I'm describing that fee on the periodic statements. And really, even the smallest deviations between those two can lead to problems in your exams. So tracking through your process, making sure that anytime you're referencing a fee that you're using consistent terminology, that is the key. Because here's the thing, maybe you did that once and you did it a couple of years ago and you think you're fine. What we're finding is sometimes there's an update to a system someplace, and all of your initial disclosures, maybe they changed some of the terminology. Maybe there were limitations on the character numbers, or the number of characters that are allowed in a certain field, and it messes up your system. Or maybe you have a periodic statement that that for a software update or something along those lines, and for some reason the fees are not being labeled correctly. I've seen even now, after we've been doing this for so many decades, still running into problems on that front. Change in terms notices. Remember, if you are going to change anything that was required to be disclosed on the front end, okay, so like those account opening disclosures on an account, and if the change would reduce the annual percentage yield or adversely affect the customer, you have to give them a notice. You have to let them know the date that the notice is going to be effective, and they have to get it 30 days before the change. So things to watch out for is if you are going to put this notice into a periodic statement, because that's perfectly fine. On your account disclosure, you could give them their notice there, making sure that you understand how the account statements are being cut, and going from the very last account statement that's going to be cut for any given month and calculating it 30 days past that date. I've seen kind of errors where we thought, okay, it went out with this month, and this month's disclosure, or this month's periodic statement, it has the disclosure on there. We should be fine. We can start on this date. And what they don't realize is that there's a rolling periodic statement period, and some people were getting their periodic statements far later than the people at the beginning of the month. So make sure that you understand how that works. Advertising. Also, keep in mind, there are no exceptions for advertising on social media. So all of the requirements will pop up for social media as well. So make sure that all of your triggered disclosures, if you're talking about any kind of products and services, that you're getting those required disclosures out there. There's no exception for it being small, or where it's or how it's gonna look on the phone. So maybe you shared something and then somebody else shares it and it doesn't look the way that you thought it was. You need to be managing to that, and understand that sometimes what you posted is going to look a little different on somebody else's phone, depending on how that gets kind of plinkos through the social media site that you're using. Also, watch what your employees are doing. It's probably a good idea for you to have some kind of acceptable use policy in place, and you should have some policy around who is authorized to speak, so to speak, on behalf of the financial institution on social media or on the internet. So you have some approval process in place, and you have someone who is authorized to do that, because your employees are going to be out there, and sometimes they're out there marketing on their own. Maybe it's on their LinkedIn page, or maybe it's on Facebook, or whatever it is. And if they start holding themselves out as being authorized to speak on behalf of the financial institution, they start talking about products and services, that could get you into trouble too, and you might have to defend what you're doing. So Reg DD, that's another one.